Kenyans are still hurting, and we shall not relent until this regime acknowledges this grim reality of suffering and agrees to repeal the infamous Finance Act. We call on Kenyans not to surrender. We must not, and we will not give up. Let us take comfort in the fact that the world has seen worse and more brutal regimes before. No regime can be so brutal as to outlive its people. We shall overcome.
It is now a waiting game for Kenyans as they remain in the dark on the next step in the planned Friday prayers, especially after President Ruto yesterday guested to hold talks with Azimio leaders Raila with the Azimio leader Raila Odinga. Edward Nyamu, KUTV.
Still on matters Azimio la Umoja, hundreds of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition followers responded to the call by opposition leader Raila Odinga to remember victims who lost their lives during anti-government protests. This is after Raila postponed anti-government protests, which were supposed to be held today in remembrance of victims of police brutality witnessed during demonstrations.
To mark a day of solidarity and vigil for victims of police brutality witnessed during demos, hundreds of Azimio followers lit candles and organized church masses as called on by opposition leader Raila Odinga. Azimio la Umoja called for the vigils in a backdrop of the wave of demos that rocked the country, leading to massive deaths with scores, others nursing injuries in hospitals across the country. Azimio has insensately attributed these losses to police brutality meted out on protesters faithfully demonstrating against the high cost of living and exorbitant taxes. The anti-government protests, which have been taking place for several weeks, were to resume today before being postponed by the opposition, which set aside this day to remember those who died and comfort those who injured in the protests. It is estimated that 35 souls lost their lives, hundreds injured, and others unceremoniously arrested by the police during the demos. Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo revealed yet another account of damages, counting 1 law enforcer dead, 305 injured, 158 vehicles destroyed, and 9 police stations damaged during the demos. Julie Ongaki, KUTV.
Now look at this. After a prolonged push and pull between the government and the opposition, President William Ruto yesterday made a statement on his Twitter account welcoming the leader of opposition Raila Odinga for dialogue. This came a few hours after the opposition leader revealed an attempt by Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu to unite the warring political divides in order to find an endpoint to the protests. Our English news editor Ann ODIDA unpacked the events before President William Ruto's proposal. Take a look.
March 20th, 2023 saw the onset of Kenya's opposition party protests against the government that will degenerate into looting and deadly clashes between security forces and demonstrators and paralyze the running of businesses in the country for the 4 months of protests. On the list of demands for the first phase of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition protest that began on 20th March, 27th March and 30th March included refusal by President Ruto to allow the audit of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission servers, high cost of living after the government eliminated subsidies, nepotism in the Kenyan administration, failing to consult other stakeholders in the reconstitution of IEBC. A few days before the coalition embarked on a 3-day protest, President William Ruto held a briefing with the media on April 2nd, asking the opposition leader Raila Odinga and other opposition leaders to call off the mass protest and give a bipartisan parliamentary engagement a chance, a call that Odinga gave into just a few hours after the president's address.
I urge my brother Raila Odinga and the opposition to call off the demonstrations and to give this bipartisan approach a chance for us to take the country forward.
After attempts to hold the bipartisan talks, Azimio withdrew from the offer, stating that President William Ruto's team exhibited bad faith from the beginning of the process that was set to bring together 14 members of parliament. On May 2nd, the second phase of protests began, where Odinga encouraged his followers to oppose the high cost of living and to demand for the opening of the IEBC servers, as well as the return of IEBC commissioners who had been expelled.
We are marching on. Tomorrow we take a break, strategize and recharge. Our protests will resume on Thursday, the 4th of May.
The Raila Odinga-led Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition called off the protests a day later after the ruling Kenya Kwanza-led government ceded to the demands to withdraw Eldas Member of Parliament Aden Kainan from its bipartisan talks team, where in a swift rejoinder, Kenya Kwanza leadership in Parliament responded by removing MP Kainan from the committee. In his place, SACU Member of Parliament Didoraso was picked. After a 2-month break, Azimio announced the resumption of protests on July 7 on the historic Saba Saba Day, this time to protest against the high cost of living and punitive taxes relayed on the suspended Finance Act 2023. Protests that would later be witnessed for 3 consecutive days and would later grab the attention of international communities and a call for dialogue. On July 25th, Odinga revealed that Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu had visited Kenya a few days ago in an effort to unite the two warring political divides, but the government side did not show up, perhaps a revelation that will lead to President William Ruto's next gesture.
The president from Tanzania came here 2 weeks ago at the invitation of President Ruto to mediate, and she was kept waiting, not from our side. We were available, but the other side was not available.
A few hours later, President William Ruto played the bigger person part by sending Odinga his proposals for dialogue, saying that he is ready whenever Odinga is ready, something that is still eliciting reactions in the country. The answer as to whether Odinga will appear is still unknown. ODIDA, KUTV.
All right, that brings us to the end of our first segment of news. We are taking a short break. We still have plenty more ahead, including an update on Shakahola. Remember, there is a post-mortem ongoing which is being performed on bodies exhumed from Shakahola's Paul Mackenzie land. That and more shortly. Stay with us.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
When your teeth are in good condition, it boosts your confidence and also your positive self-image. And today we are going to be talking about various dental services. We are coming to you from Bright Smile Center, where they keep your smiles bright.
Teeth alignment. Braces is part of teeth alignment because there are other procedures, and braces is just part of it. Teeth alignment is for crooked teeth, those who have teeth that are not aligned. That is called why it is we say we are aligning your teeth.
Keep your dentist on your close friend list and make sure you visit your dentist after every 6 months for regular checkup.
Right, welcome back to Primetime News. Let us continue with the broadcast. Now, speculations about police officers engaged in extrajudicial executions and excessive use of force against the public has drawn the government and opposition in the middle of controversy. The two groups are now shifting blames on each other as the victims rumble for justice. The National Police Service has recently been on the spot over widespread violence and unjustified killings during Azimio protests. Take a look.
Utendakazi wa huduma ya polisi imekuwa
Right, apologies for that. Now, moving on, the post-mortem on the 87 bodies exhumed at Shakahola's Paul Mackenzie land in Malindi sub-county has entered its fourth phase with 10 bodies examined today. Chief Government Pathologist Dr. Johansen Odur, while briefing journalists at the Malindi sub-county hospital funeral home, disputed claims of fresh bodies being exhumed at the farm, clarifying that all the bodies were in a decomposed state.
The post-mortem on the 87 bodies exhumed at Shakahola's Paul Mackenzie land in Malindi has entered its fourth phase with 10 bodies examined today. The autopsies conducted on the exhumed bodies include 9 children and 1 adult. Among them were 3 females, 4 males, while the gender of 3 other bodies could not be verified due to the advanced level of decomposition.
The fourth phase of autopsies of the victims of bodies which we exhumed at Shakahola, and today we managed to do 10 postmortems, and of these postmortems, the majority of them were children. 9 were children while 1 was an adult.
Dr. Oduor, accompanied by the Director of the Homicide Division at the Director of Criminal Investigation, Martin Nyogutu, reported that 4 bodies' cause of death was determined to be starvation. However, his team could not identify the cause of death for 6 bodies due to the extent of decomposition.
We've not heard of any complaint about how busy the mortuary is. And as you see, we've been doing the autopsies in the morning, then we leave the afternoon for them to continue with their normal operation, which have been working on very well.
Addressing concerns that the autopsy exercise was affecting services at the funeral home, Dr. Oduor downplayed the issue, stating that there existed a proper working relationship with the Malindi Sub-County Hospital management. He refrained from disclosing the progress of the DNA process, leaving families of the victims waiting for several months after providing their samples.
The process is ongoing, and very soon they'll be able to release the DNAs which have been matched, so that now we can be in that phase of releasing bodies to the relatives. That's all that I could gather, but I'm not very privy to the exact details.
The post-mortem process will continue tomorrow, Thursday, and onwards until the remaining 77 bodies are examined to determine the cause of death. Patrick Oduor, KUTV.
Now, President William Ruto is beginning tomorrow set to tour the coast region, and even as his spokesperson outlined that Ruto will be at the coast for development projects, The president's recent trips across the country have taken the form of campaigns reminiscing his trademark Tanga rallies that won him elections in August last year. Take a look.
Homa Bay, Kericho, Isiolo, Murang'a, Vihiga, Kisii, Taita Taveta, and now Kwale, Kilifi, Mombasa, and Tana River. President Ruto has in a span of 1 week visited over 6 counties in 6 regions of the country, that is Nyanza, Western, Central, Northeastern region and his backyard Rift Valley. And today the president's spokesman revealed Ruto's plans to take his charm offensive to the coast. Hussein Mohammed has elucidated that President Ruto's itinerary is full with launches and commissions of development projects, major of which is the Tana Delta irrigation scheme, earmarked to put over 12,000 acres under tillage.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs, okay? So they will communicate and they will handle all.
Although Hussein Mohammed said tomorrow's will be a development tour, clear indications show Ruto as a man on a mission, with his countrywide tours taking the shape of campaigns. Ruto is seen as perturbed by the current political shockwaves rocking the country, exposing Kenya Kwanza as a government without the people's backing, and with Azimia's Tumechoka initiative garnering over 8 million signatures, Ruto's position as president is significantly put in jeopardy.
Nimekuja hapa zile barabara tulianzisha pale town. Nimekuja kufanya commissioning.
As President Ruto dons his now signature counter suit, warming up for his coast tour tomorrow, it remains to be known whether President Ruto's charming trips across the country are attempts to revive the president's common touch and unite the country, or a warm-up campaign ahead of 2027. Munanaweru, KUTV.
Now, speculations about police officers engaged in extrajudicial executions and excessive use of force against the public has drawn the government and opposition in the middle of controversy. The two groups are now shifting blames on each other as the victims rumble for justice. The National Police Service has recently been on the spot over widespread violence and unjustified killings during Azimio protests.
The National Police Service and other security organs have for the past few weeks been on the spot over claims of brutality and extrajudicial killings of the public. A new wave of contention is sweeping across the government and opposition over who is to be blamed as the two parties point fingers of accusations on each other.
It is very obvious the way the police have handled themselves. You can see that what happened in Kisumu, police went into residential estates and targeted people in Bondo, in Siaya, in Migori particularly. The use of live bullets. In Homa Bay as well. Why do you target only those 4 counties? And then here in estates, the same thing.
According to the government, the allegations of police brutality are false and malicious and intended to distort public opinion regarding violence in the pretext of protests.
Haitawezekana tukubalie mtu yeyote kuvunja duka ya mtu, kutatiza barabara na uchukuzi, kuchoma mali na kuchoma maofisi ya serikali kama ile ofisi ya ACC pale Kitengela ambayo ilichomwa, mpaka vitambulisho vya raia ambao hawana hatia vikachomwa.
The government has continued to play in defense of the police and other security organs, even as the service receives faults across the divide. The government maintains that the National Police Organ have acted neutral, impartial and professional towards maintaining order and protecting properties.
Mimi nataka niwaambie polisi wetu hongera kwa kusimama kidete na kuhakikisha kwamba kuna amani na kuhakikisha kwamba wahalifu wote wanachukuliwa hatua. Ndio tuhakikisha kwamba kuna amani Kenya na hakuna vita na mali biashara ya wananchi isiharibike.
Azimio leaders have time and again called on the police to desist from state control, with claims that police are part of suffering Kenyans and should join hands in protesting for low cost of living. The coalition on Monday suspended today's planned demonstration for a candle lighting vigil in memory of police brutality deaths. During his visit to Bondo Township, where Chief's house was torched during protest, Interior PS Raymond Omolo condemned protest violence, which he claimed threatens the lives of police officers. Joseph Oyomo, KUTV.
And on sports, Lionel Messi broke yet another incredible record in his first Major League Soccer match. The Argentine star scored 2 inside the opening 22 minutes before setting up teammate Robert Taylor for his second of the night in the second half at DRV PNK Stadium on Tuesday night. The two secured the team's place in the league's cup knockout rounds by starring on the night, each netting a brace to guide Inter Miami to the league's cup knockout rounds with 4-0 win over Atlanta United. Right, that brings us to the end of our broadcast tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Our sign language interpreter has been Sami Okello. My name is Joseph Kess. Until we meet again next time, enjoy the rest of your week and the rest of and have a good night.